So Ministry of the Future is working on all these fronts.
Okay. So let's talk about those already on the continent. I know that Ministry of the Future was part of the initiation of the Year of Return. So now, beyond the return, what's the way forward?
Well, now that you brought up this subject about the Year of Return, I think we need to just stop, put on brakes a moment to highlight.
Okay.
The Year of Return seems to be resonating as the foundational basis of bringing about interests of the global African diaspora community to come to Ghana.
Okay.
But one needs to know that the Year of Return comes as an initiative of the African diaspora. It was not a government initiative.
Okay.
The African of the diaspora started the roadmap for the Year of Return through the educational outreach and advocacy for citizenship, as I mentioned earlier at the outset, in the 90s. And then, as I said, that we were given the right to return by the former head of state in 2016. So now, what is the way forward? Now, from the Year of Return, brought in, some say, $3.2 billion in 2019. Ministry of the Future has registered on its website page that the African of the diaspora gave a love gift of tourism to Ghana, $2.2 billion. I mean, look at that. Look at the utility of the African of the diaspora. It's not an IMF loan. It's not a World Bank loan. They are coming, giving you that type of money and asking only, give me a chance to live as a human being in your country. So government, I think, has recognized the fact that there's a lot to be gained in terms of added value by catering to Africans of the diaspora, particularly African Americans, because African Americans have a multi-trillion-dollar spending budget in the United States of America. And so African countries realize that it's good business to get Africans of the diaspora, but we're not excluding other Africans of the diaspora. So we all are coming as one package. So this is the way forward, is that now government is seeing so much depth and utility financially in the Year of Return. They have taken it to another level called Beyond the Return. Now we of the African diaspora, we must come in and be a part of this Year of Return, not as bystanders looking. And I know you're very happy to come and get your citizenship, but we have to go beyond just getting the citizenship, especially those of us who are underground here. This is an African diaspora initiative, and it is multi-dimensional. Multi-dimensional. Let me explain that. The African diaspora return back to Africa is spiritual and it is physical. Do understand when I say physical? Many of the governments have only seen the physical side, the materialistic side, get money, but they are overlooking the spiritual side. This is a spiritual movement, the exodus out of Babylon of Africans of the diaspora. And make no mistake about it, that we are a children and people in providence and prophecy. And we are fulfilling that prophetical prophecy that the children would return to the source. So it is a spiritual movement, and I'd like to keep that in perspective because Ministry of the Future has started this on a spiritual movement level, but we do realize at the same time you have to address the fact of capital. You can do nothing without capital today, but do not get lost in just chasing the money and overlook the spiritual side, because this is like the race of the hare and the turtle, and we know who won that particular race. This particular marathon that we're running, that it's a long marathon over 6,000 years, and we are coming close to the finish line right now. So do not get lost in money. The spiritual power of the African of the diaspora coming back to the source of his mother is beyond any power in the world that you could ever imagine. And you are going to see it. It will take about maybe 10 years for the African of the diaspora to settle down. You can't expect for us to come right now and just hit the ground as things are. You got to melt into the society. Once they find their footing and get their aim, Africa will be great again by what the African of the diaspora will contribute to make this continent what it was in the beginning. So as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Yes.
Wow, beautiful. Let's go for a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm pleased to have with me Dr. Hamid Maulana, and today I call this Time with Master Teacher Dr. Hamid Maulana. Dr. Maulana, we know that you've been on the African continent for close to 52 years, and you've been particularly in Ghana for over 40 years. One of the problems that we have in Africa is very, very political. Government coming in, government going out. And next year is an election year in Ghana. One of the questions that most of the diasporans are asking, both those on the continent and those abroad, and I would like to ask that question. I've penned it down. The question is, Ghana will be having a national election in 2024. What should the African diaspora be embracing of? Because there could be a new government coming in. Is it a belief that there's not going to be any citizenship granting again? Or what's the way forward? Do you have any answer to that particular question?
Well, thank you very much, Frank. My take on that is simply this. Knowing the political dimensions of